Bachelor's degrees. Raise your hand.
Computer science or
Computer science.
Oh.
Computer science bachelor. Okay, that's good. Masters. Who has studied masters?
Still computers?
Yes, computer science. Do we have any doctors? Doctorate? No. Okay, that's good. So now, who has fond memories about studying in general in a university? That's great. In any university.
Okay.
Yeah. So now question. You have best friend. Best friend has like job. They're working hard. And they're working not in a IT industry. Something different. So would you recommend a computer science university to your best friend?
About which university?
Your or any other, but yes. I don't see a lot of hands. Yeah, and I don't see a lot of hands. So let's discuss. So, and big thank you, Ilya and Edgar, for inviting me to speak a bit about university and computer science. I'm open for your opinions. Let's discuss them in the end, right? So, what is computer science in the university? And I've did some digging. So I went into all like big universities in Latvia and tried to compare them. What do they offer right now, today, for the next year? And first of all, computer science bachelor's degrees in Latvia is 3-4 years, right? So what is the major stuff they teach you? And I'm talking about major stuff that I found in all universities in Latvia, the core stuff. So first, it's math, right? So first, like if you're working as a software engineer in IT, last year, raise your hand if you did some complex math. Complex, not plus, not multiply. Okay, one hand, right? But math is really helpful. It helps in some occasions, especially more abstract math that doesn't have numbers, because that's the fun stuff. So next, computers, right? And here we see, when we discuss about how computers are built, how do they work, the bytes, the plus zeros and the ones, the network. So Ilya really liked the network stuff, and it was really handy for him to know. Computer graphics, operating systems, assembly language. Who has wrote some assembly language before? Okay. But you wouldn't like to get back to it, I would guess, right? It's a bit, you would like to. That's good. That's a good spirit.
Sorry, in which university have you found like assembly especially?
So it is not easy to compare universities because some of them say like embedded programming. I didn't study in all universities. Maybe I assumed wrong, but embedded programming, I assume that embedded programming maybe is assembly language. In a particular university, I know that there is assembly language. Yeah? Yes?
Yeah, well, in FDU, like 25 years ago, we already had assemble, including different microchips. And 10 years ago in TC, we also had a few different courses which include assembly language, assembly, disassembly, and microchips. So
Yeah.
assembly, I believe it's a mandatory part of.
Yeah, I don't know about LU. Is there assembly language in LU? Does someone know? Yes. So we've covered all 3 big universities. Yeah? Let's go next. Software. Right? Let's look at this list. Programming, objective-oriented programming, data structures, databases, and software engineering. Who knows the difference between software engineering and programming? That's good. Yeah, and it's not that easy, right? So programming is when you write code. Software engineering is when you write code that works.
Not quite. Also a lot of requirements actually and management
How? Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Wasn't it more like complex when programming is like too literally, like writing it, but the engineering part is like, okay, this is going to connect to this, this
Yeah.
is
Yes.
like architectural parts
Yes.
included.
Yes.
The word engineer / architecture. It makes sense, but like it's something you can stretch out, and like as a different person you're going to get like a different answer, but like that's the best difference I've heard like overall.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's processes, it's collaboration, architecture, And different universities teach it differently. The fourth one, soft skills. Yeah? So these are 4 major areas where you have courses in the university for computer science bachelor. We've went through the list, and as you can see, and how they advertise it, it's core concepts for you to know to work in IT, right? And you have a bunch of other stuff. And this is where it gets interesting. All of this, some universities in Latvia offer this, but not all of them, right? And if you try to look for some words here, I would bet you would find something interesting for you. And you'll say, oh, I would attend this course, right? Something. But don't read it. Just like you put your eye and say, declarative programming. That's interesting, right? I would go. But let's go next. Yeah, Ilya?
Actually, like on the previous slide, like I found out what it was NetTechWeb, and it was taught in Latvian university, and it was like the most mind-blowing and the most foundational course. I mean, like how to behave like in the internet, how to communicate, how to stay nice, how people should like write text. And then later, like I was like in companies, I was surprised. Like, you didn't get NetTechWeb courses? Why do you're writing like so?
Why did you study?
Like what did you do?
And this is the interesting part. Like, don't hate me if you like math, but this is the interesting part. So is a computer science degree good? Yes. Right? Okay, thank you. So any questions? So the answer is, and like, I don't know if I'm broken or what, but if someone asks me any question, I always answer it depends, like most of the software engineers, right? Because it really depends. Like you cannot say yes, no. Let's try to dive deep. And to continue the story, continue the discussion, so let's dive deep into how our brain works, right? And if we start thinking, so scientists told us that there is a technique called chunking. So you better memorize, and it's a fact, it's a study, when you try to connect some facts in your head and try to do a puzzle. If someone just says like, oh, there is a DevClub. That's great, that's a great thing. But then you have, oh, there is a CTCO. Okay, DevClub is in CTCO, there are sponsors, I can relate, it's easier to remember, right? So if you try to glue things together, it's much easier to remember. So now we have this guy, Donald Rumsfeld, right? He did an interview, he was a United States Secretary of Defense, and he had an interview. Let's not discuss about what kind of interview, because it's questionable, but he said an interesting fact from a study that NASA was doing. And the statement is, there are known knowns, there are things that we know, all right? We also know that there are known unknowns. That is, that we say that there are some things that we don't know. And there's also unknown unknowns. The ones we don't know, we don't know. We didn't understand any of that, right? Very complicated. That's great, but let's try to digest this, right? So what he is saying, there are things that we know. So if you're a software engineer, you know that you're probably good at software engineering, and you know programming. You know this, it's a fact, right? And then there are things that you know that you don't know. So for example, do you know how blockchain works or how deep learning works? Maybe you know, but maybe you know that you don't know. So if you would like to know it, what would you do? You would go to ChatGPT and ask, right? So you know some things that you don't know, and it's good. And then there are unknown unknowns. So what do you know? What do you know that you don't know? No, sorry. What do you don't know that you don't know?
Everything else.
Yeah, everything else. Exactly. Everything else that I know that complicated. So how it looks is that basically we have understanding of things. I know like how this stuff works, and I have data. So I know that, I know this, I know that. And the idea is you need to go here. The more things you know, or you know that you don't know, will expand your horizon. Will give you a knowledge base, and will give you an ability to find out when you need something. if you don't know that you don't know something, how can you know? You don't know that you don't know it, right? So if you need to do something and there's something exists that will help you to fix it, but if you don't know that this thing exists, you will not know and it will not help you. So, like having more diverse knowledge base, if you can glue everything together in your mind, will help you to make the unknown spaceless. And this will help you to prepare better for challenges. Like even if you know that you don't know something, you can find out. You can read a book, you can read an article, right? So let's look into what people and employees expect from engineers. And let's start with a junior software engineer, right? So we see some technical skills. You need to know how to program. You need to know algorithms and data structures. You need to know version control, IDs, databases, stuff like that. The core, right? And you need to have some soft skills. You need to adapt to what life throws at you. You need to, first of all, be willingness to learn, right? So, and from the feedback and from personal experience, like if you're an employer and you have an option to hire a person who had 2 years of practical experience, but they didn't study anything, and you have a fresh graduate who didn't have any practical experience, how to fix it?
Just scroll the wheel.
Okay. Yeah. So study and facts shows that the guy who didn't study in the university but has practical experience will be more productive faster when they join a company. Yeah? And let's look at the software engineering requirements. This is next level. Once you're not junior, what changes? And like if we look at technical skills, there's not a lot of difference between the junior. So when you grow up, what happens is that you are just better at solving problems and you can use your knowledge more efficiently. Yeah? If you know how to write a REST endpoint as a junior, as a software engineer, you just need to be good at it, right? And this means that if you know practical stuff, here you just need to take more responsibility and prepare yourselves and organize yourselves. And if we look at hiring and job listings from FANG companies, right? So FANG, this is a term for like the corporations like Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google. There is even a term called equal practical experience. So if you want to apply for a job offer, they say you would need a bachelor degree or an equal practical experience. Same with masters, right? But where things get interesting is that there is a term. So previously, everyone was talking about full stack engineers. That was a hype, like everyone needs to be full stack. So now the industry is discussing we should find T-shaped seniors. Who has heard about T-shaped proficiencies? Yeah? And now it's interesting because we see what T-shape means. You have your experience your, main specialty, and then you need to be knowledgeable in other areas, in adjacent areas. So this changes the picture. And actually, folks who just had practical experience, they didn't have those known unknowns area. They didn't have the puzzle. So for a software engineer who just specialized in one particular area, it's quite complicated to get the adjacent areas. Because maybe the person just don't have the overall knowledge how to get into those areas, right? And here, where I personally also see there are difficulties for folks who started with one particular domain and haven't touched the other stuff to grow to the next levels. And I would say is that your career depends on you playing Tetris with your knowledge. So you can do a course and you will get a great line of expertise in one area. But only when you'll get the base, it will drop down and you'll reach another level. So not only you need to specialize in one area, you need to cover the adjacent ones. And this is how you grow your expertise overall and as a T-shaped engineer. So if you would like to go to university, if you would like to choose, let's discuss how we can choose, how we can grade the universities, right? And the first thing is the program, is the courses. And the interesting thing is, as I mentioned, these are the interesting ones. And the core stuff, it's not that practical. This thing most probably will help you in some areas. Most probably, if you're interested in, I don't know, web application development, this course will help you give practical knowledge for you to start. And yeah, next one, professors. So I believe that course is great only when professors are active in the industry. And why so? And I can give my own personal opinion and my personal, how to say, story. So I was one of the first professors who started teaching mobile development courses in university. It was back in 2017 in Latvia. And like I've prepared the course, I spent a lot of time doing that. But next year, when I was teaching the same course to students, I was thinking that, but everything is old. Like if I would do it this year, I would completely redo it because technology evolves. There are new patterns, and that was one of the reasons why I stopped doing it, because I understood that I need a lot of more effort and do it each year to keep course fresh, to keep it actual. Otherwise, I'm just telling non-helpful theoretical knowledge. Yeah, Ilya?
The fun fact that I was attending this course. so Alexey was actually teaching me because I was finishing my bachelor, so I was already like a professional, like with like 7-8 years in the field. But I was like web developer, and I was like very interested. So Android was like it felt like my heart. So I was really in love with Android, and then I saw like Alexey, and it was a fresh air in the university that some also a professional teaching me an Android development. So it was very, very fun, and one of the inspirations why I proceeded after a while with my teaching. So
that's great to hear. Thank you. Yeah. So, and that brings us to the next stuff, right? Is university just for learning materials, right? What would you say? Just going and listening to professors? Is it that? No? And that's the thing, right? And and in the whole concept of a university here, so maybe you know this, the ECTS, like all of our courses, all of our programs are rated in credit points, right? So 60 credit points per year, roughly, is 1,500, 1,800 hours per year. And the idea from this concept is that half or 3-4 parts of the time, it's self-study. Like, if you just go there for the lectures, you miss out most of the part, yeah? And this is one of the things, like, if you have time to do self-study, if you have time to invest more and deeper into the subjects that you're studying in the university, that's an amazing opportunity, because you can ask questions. You can ask professor, oh, I finished everything, I want to go deeper, I like this topic, what I can do next? The self-study is important. The lectures, not that much. The next thing is community and connections. Yeah. So regarding the community, so a lot of times there are sometimes there are events, hackathons and stuff like that, when you can really get your practical skills, not just lectures. So some universities are hosting hackathons. Some companies are hosting hackathons where you can go as a team and try to crack a problem and get a more or less real-life example of a problem. There is an awesome Google Summer of Code. So Google Summer of Code is an international open source project that happens each summer when companies like Google, like Microsoft, like Scala, they offer tutorship on real-life open source projects. So for example, some time ago, you could go and work on a V8 Mozilla engine and contribute to engines that runs JavaScript. Or you could go and contribute to programming languages, write some SDKs as a junior, as a student. And this is primarily for students. So you go to the smartest guys there are, like Diana, right? And you actually work there with smartest people around whole summer. That's like a really amazing opportunity. And also there are stuff called Erasmus+. So you could go abroad, you could study there in a different university. That's one thing, but also Erasmus+ hosts different events. So I had a pleasure and a luxury to organize a couple of international events for Erasmus+, when universities around Europe came together, and we did twice, I believe, a mobile hackathon. Like computer scientists from Poland, from Portugal, from Austria got together. We did some teams, international teams, and for 2 weeks we were working and trying to building a mobile app, like a project, real life project. So maybe if you're studying in a university, you can try to see if there are open opportunities for you to go. And it's not like some universities endorse it and help you to get knowledge about that, but I believe you can go even without university if you find this project that you're interested in. And another thing is programming clubs, right? And I haven't attended the programming clubs for a while now, but they existed. And most probably some of them exist now. I know, I found that Datoriki still exists, right? And what's about programming clubs? So, we were debating with Edgar just now, right? Is that when industry professionals, the old guys, try to teach something to students, they are a bit, maybe, how to say, maybe they fear, like fear talking with old guys, right? But programming clubs allow you to work together as a group of like-minded individuals try to learn something. So for example, in my programming club, we were discussing like, oh, if we can go deeper into Java? What if we go deeper into that language? And we were trying to teach each other, do some kind of exercise and trying to get to the bottom of it, how to get practical experience. And another thing is that if you are studying in a university, you could lead a developer club. Yeah? And that's an amazing opportunity to lead the club, to organize events, to get to know the public, get to know public speaking, right? And prepare yourself to going to Edgar and asking to speak at DevClub. This is how you go to DevClub. Yeah? Most probably. Maybe.
I think DevClub is the least thing. You actually, if you learn to speak, you are much valuable worker at any company. Because as we all know, when a developer and people is not like to common things. The average developer likes to not read people.
Yes, but here it's a safe zone. You play League of Legends and then you speak about C++. It's a fun club. And sometimes you need to speak about serious stuff. Next. So I would say this is how I would recommend a university to someone. This is how I would select a university, right? So let's go back to the slide which I've had in the start of my presentation. So it really depends. So you absolutely must broaden your horizon. How you do it? Using bachelor degrees, using courses that Jan is greatly proposed to us. You need to broaden your horizon. If you want to grow, if you want to be prepared for challenges, you need to know how to go to the left, you need to go how to go to the right in the industries that you're working. Because knowledge is the most important thing. Yeah? So that's all, and thank you very much for listening. So now, if you believe I've said something dumb about universities in Latvia, please tell me.
All was pretty much right.
Forgot to mention physical education.
I didn't find it in all universities, and when I've studied, I didn't have physical university, physical courses.
RTU has
1.5 years. And chemistry.
I didn't have it.
What you?
Yes, I didn't have physics as well.
So you two guys, you already asked some questions. When we asked Ilya, he asked you, so your quota is already.
Edgar's becoming boring. Is it related to time of the day or not?
What, sorry?
So,
Yeah?
I
ask a question. So basically, throughout my teaching career, there is really a popular question: do I need the university to get a job, right? But is like university only about getting job? Is there something more? Maybe you can comment as a guy from the academic field.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that, but yeah.
Because I am pro
So
education, I really think that
yes.
people should attend university.
So question like, who had opportunity to write their own compiler and lexer? Yeah, I did it in a university because there was a course and I said, oh, but I can write a programming language and I'll do it because it's fun. If I would not go to university, I would not know how it works. Did it help me? At some point, I've decided in one of the companies I work for, I was developing a mobile development SDK, like Xamarin, like React Native, like Flutter, like the SDKs. And I said, oh, I will develop a plugin for an IDE. And I needed to write a lexer to parse the language and do the rules so it will highlight the text and do like auto-completion and stuff. Yeah, it was helpful. If I would not spend time in university, I wouldn't know that it's possible. I wouldn't know how it worked. Was there any other stuff in the university that helped me? For example, even math, it helped me when I was working on like maps APIs, drawing polygons and driving figures on a Google map and stuff like that, and computing the, the space of the stuff. Yeah, it helped for sure. Did I miss much if I would not go to university? I don't know, but it helped me for sure.
And probably help you with socializing with your classmates as
Yes.
well, and
Yes.
like showing you how to do a proper research and,
Yeah.
and these kind of things. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I know in the computer science there's this part which is saying science. Then I believe me as the software engineer, I'm not doing science. Science is a little bit more complicated, and I'm not sure if people who have done like 3 months Codelix can actually do science in computer, right? Making their own researches. So that's a big part of it as well, and I think it's worth mentioning to people.
Yeah, and for example, like the bachelor degree, like and the bachelor thesis and master thesis is for you to be inventive, for you to be creational. You need to pick a challenge, spend a lot of time that interests you to also broaden your horizon, right? So you can go an easy way and you say, I will build a website. That's one thing. Or you could say some ambitious stuff. Like one of my course mates, he said, I want to analyze music, try to do some kind of machine learning prediction or something he was doing, like try to understand how music can be changed and stuff like that. So I don't remember fully, but it was something that he was passionate. So he's doing music as his hobby, and he even has a Spotify account. Yeah. So if you want to be creative, if you want to go extra mile, that's a great opportunity that fosters you to do it. But if you're just there for the lectures, I don't think it's worth it. Yeah.
So essentially, it all comes down to motivation.
Yes.
If you have some, that's
Yes.
going to work for you.
Yeah.
So essentially, what we're trying to do with education is foster motivation from early
Yes.
age, which Scholar 2030 kind of does. Hopefully, I don't know.
Sorry?
Scholar, the Smith 3, the Smith.
Yeah,
Does it
it's
foster motivation?
Ilya can respond to this in more better quality.
So it's kind of an open question. So more of a comment than a question
Yep.
for you.
Thank you.
About motivation, like in our school, it's like so. So if you want to go easy, you pick design. And then we have like mentors of higher school, and they're like, are you sure you want to go to programming? And people like, yes. And they're like, it will be hard. Are you okay? And people like, okay, I'm still doing that. And then like after a month, okay, the doors are open. You can leave now. And everyone like, I'm still holding.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's vice versa. Like, and for programming stage people in our school who really would like to try it, regardless of it will turn out to be good or not.
Okay. Yeah.
I have a question. Yeah, you mentioned bachelor and masters.
Mm-hmm.
Any thoughts about PhD?
So I didn't finish masters. That's my, how to say, how it says, when you open up, right? Bad fact. Why didn't I finish masters? Because I couldn't fully dedicate my time to it, and going in for the lectures is not worth it. Same for PhD. I know some folks who started PhD, but they were busy at work, they were busy doing other stuff, they didn't finish. If you have luxury to dedicate your time to it, absolutely it's worth it. If you don't have luxury of time, then I don't think it makes sense. Like if I see as an employer, if I see PhD in someone's resume, I also want to learn whether that person worked and had practical experience, right? If you don't have practical experience, but you're a PhD, like maybe you're a junior. But I wouldn't say that if you don't have practical experience, you could be anything higher than junior, because there's a lot of stuff you need to learn to actually know how to do stuff and know how to be prepared for practical challenges. Because work and practical experience helps you to understand, okay, what is debugging? For example, would university teach you about debugging? Most likely no. But Ilya will teach you. So everyone needs to go to Ilya. Yeah. So it's worth it if you can have a balance of time. Yeah, if you can find time to really work and really do extra mile in your PhD.
Can I add, please? I mean, I tried myself at RTU. I gave up at second year. I would say there should be many factors if you want to go for PhD. First is, okay, the luxury of time. I would say a passion to research and to follow these strict rules. This academic environment comes along with business environment, like we are all in here, and it's different a bit. And you must follow rules. This is one. So you need to be passionate about research itself. The second one, and this is the best case scenario, if your employer wants you to research. So basically the same thing you're doing in your job, you are just doing it, and your employer keeps it in his business. The code, whatever your ideas, you implement it, keep it with your employer. If your employer wants you to research, it means that your research is published, and then it's partly public. So I would say most of successful PhDs are professional, researchers, not business people. They may become business people later, but it's something different.
Yeah.
That's what I said. It's a science.
It's a science, yeah.
Of course, but it's not practical. It's research. It's different. It's ideas and the way of achieving the result. Yeah.
I would also add, I'm here multiple times, it's about the time, right? Mm-hmm. So you finish school and you're 19 years old,
mm-hmm.
right? And then you join university for bachelor. That's another 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, if you're spending a lot of time in university, it's hard to combine with actual job, right? You probably should, and you probably would like to do this. And then there's masters, right? And then you're like, oh my god, I don't know how to mix it up. And you either your employer are loyal to
mm-hmm.
this thing, and most of them are loyal. And either you are failing your job, right? And you're looking for something not so creative, innovative, and make it fresh, and you just having a job for money and then studying.
Yeah, and for example, for me, when I was both studying and working, if I go to university, I miss stand-ups and I don't talk with the team. So what I had to do, I was asked, could you please call me in Teams? I think it was Teams, I don't remember. Or maybe it was some Cisco stuff, I don't remember. No, Cisco something. No. It was prior to that, yeah. And like I was running out of the classes to be on a stand-up. And it was a bit exhausting, right? But I was trying to keep up the balance between work and stuff. I had classmates who were doing homework at the office. And like their mentors were coming and asking like, what are you doing? And I'm doing homework, I need to give it to my teacher tomorrow. And I was like, pretty sure this is not what we're paying you to do. No.
And then you're like 25 and you're thinking maybe like a family? And then like masters or a family or a job or
Yes.
a family or a masters and then like,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah.
The PhD is much harder than masters and bachelor. If to compare, I don't mean about years, but about how much effort you have to put in, then PhD is at least 6-month full-time job. But like my bachelor, I wrote like in 3 days, and my master's I wrote in 2 weeks. But PhD you cannot write in less than 6 months.
But you need also, during the 5 years, you need to write articles all the time. So it's time consuming as well. PhD is about articles.
Yep, you wanted to ask a question.
So, I will be finishing school the next year,
Mhm.
12th grade.
Mhm.
And my question is it really possible to combine work with studies? Because this is a question that I'm thinking about last time, and really I want to work. I want to work right now, to be honest. And I am working, but combine working with school is not combine it with university. And I'm afraid that I will leave university in the middle of the course because of that.
Yeah, I know a lot of cases when people leave. So combining university with work is testing how efficient, not efficient, resistful to stress you are, right? So employer wants you full-time if you're good at your job, right? And if you say, I can work 1 hour more, then you're stressing yourself more, yeah? So if you say, can I work half of my time at work, half of my time at studies? It's okay. Then you say, but maybe I can work 6 hours at work because it's interesting, I want to learn more at work. Then you're eating time from yourself, right? In each time you give more time to work, you have less time to focus on studies and less effective it becomes. And last year in the university, how I was, ending it, I was going to professors and saying, I know this subject, I use it daily, can you just put a grade and I will not attend your classes? And they're saying, like, but we know that you know everything. Could you do something as a homework and we'll put 10? And I was saying, what can you put me if I don't do anything? And they say, 4? I said, okay. Deal. And am I sad about it now? Like, grades don't matter. They don't matter to your employee if you're good at your job. Does it matter to you? I have 4 in object-oriented programming, I believe.
If you want to go PhD, it will be counted.
Yes, yes, and that's a trade-off. That's a trade-off. Yeah, but yeah.
I would say if you have opportunity to study without working, then study as long as you can without working.
Yes.
Because when you start to study and work, then you don't do any of those in good quality.
Yeah, well, to add on top of that, the university years are the best years you will ever have, so don't worry. This is true.
I'm not preaching to the choir. Those were not the best years. I had
The
terrible
first 2 years
experience.
was the
I did
best.
not enjoy any of it.
I lived in dorm.
It's not
I
a
had
universal
parties, I had
experience. It was
freedom, I had
terrible.
everything.
Yeah.
So I was working when I was studying quite quickly, so my education is quite poor. I'm not proud of my education.
Absolutely.
If I would study more at that time, I would be definitely smarter and probably earning more than I do now.
So
Yeah, this is the idea. It's just if you count like 10 next years, starting with your university, you spend like 5 years in university without studying, for example, then after the university, a good employer fetches you
Yes.
and pay another 5 years of these 10 years together. And it will sum up more than if you work low wages all 10 years long, and then next 10 years the same low level or maybe a bit higher. You know, count it this way.
Remember,
If he gets a rise for his startup like 10 millions now, why should he go to?
let's remember Bill Gates, right?
Yeah, why not?
But not everyone is Bill Gates, remember. Just say, we don't have Bill Gates in Latvia.
Some people are Steve Jobs.
And yeah, but those guys like left Harvard and Oxford and these kind of universities, right?
Just drop a low and you'll be fine.
You can go further than they. So they dropped Harvard. You don't even apply to Harvard.
You need to apply first.
You have a garage.
And remember this test with the Zephyrs and the kids. So if you will wait, yeah, you have one Zephyr, you can grab it now, it's yours. But if you will wait, you will get another one and maybe another one later. So that's about it.
Okay, I want to share my experience.
Let's do
Yeah.
it. Okay, you share your experience and then you finish officially.
Yeah.
Because once a whole,
I
he wants to
started
sleep.
to work in my 12th class, I combined studies, trainings, and work at the same time. And then I moved from my parents at 18, and I'm living 2 years totally happy. I'm working and studying at the same time. It's not so hard. Like, there are programs like medical engineering that I tried for 1 year and just put out from it. Yeah, but so in the medical field, it's hard to study and work at the same time. But in IT, especially in R2, it's not so hard. Like if you're studying at the study time, then you will be successful in your studies. Like, it's not so hard to just take notes and listen to your lecture while it's going. So you don't need to repeat it at home or something. That's all.
You're actually amazing. Yeah, so I'm happy for you.
Okay, Professor.
May I put a few comments, few minutes? Because I heard from Alexey that he doesn't care about the grade in university, and I believe many of us don't. But we are all wrong, and I found it only like a year ago. I never heard it before. There is a lot of grants.
You're
which
right.
Basically pay for you thousands for some programs. The one I was looking for is from Sans Education University in America. And to win it, basically you need to pass English certificate, but the focus was what was your European CTC average grade. So mine, because I did like Alexey, put 4, I'm okay. And mine was below the average they accept. And I basically said, I can apply because I didn't care about my value in university. I was working in parallel, and I was just fine with a final certificate of university. So take away from what I learned and as a possible life roadmap to you is to focus on university, anyone, because they are all rated, I believe, equally when you go to this European level of certificates about the grade. So if you finish with nice grade, you have good opportunities, good chance to win this grant, and basically you will go to the best university in the world for free.
You are right. Thank you for bringing it. Right, and there are some like maybe things that are not that available if you don't finish your studies with perfection like you can, because all of you can finish with perfection. Can you be a prime minister of Latvia without having masters? I think not. Right? Or just bachelor's? I think you need bachelor's, but for minister, you need master's. Do you want to go to computer science like science? Most probably it would not be a good idea to have average grade of something, something, if you want to go pursue a career in science, right? If you want to grow in business, then most probably grade doesn't matter. Yeah?
So the answer is it depends.
Thank you.